you're a doctor, clinician, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, this message is for you. Do you ever find yourself too busy to take care of yourself? Take care of your loved ones? Do you ever notice that you're too busy for your wife and kids? In fact, are you sometimes too busy for even God himself? What will your life look like if you keep this up for 5 years, 10 years? Will you even make it to 20 years? Well, if that's you, then you've fallen into the workload trap. Early in my career, I was very familiar with a high workload. It's like par for the course. A high workload is expected of someone who's a clinician, especially a physician. I had gotten so familiar with working under pressure and having such a high workload that it became just a part of who I was as a person. It defined me, and it defined my career. At my busiest, I was working 2 inpatient jobs and 2 outpatient jobs. And, typically the workload for a doctor is very high. It's like notes and seeing patient after patient, like having regulations to fulfill, insurance companies to talk to, just more and more things to do to get your job done. And when 5 o'clock hits, well, it just keeps going. People call and ask for more. In my evening time, I was present, but, well, not really present. I remember going to one of my daughter's middle school recitals. Now, I wanted to go, but at the same time didn't want to go because I had so much work to do. And as I'm walking into the auditorium, the parents are walking in with their kids and they're excited and they're talking. I'm on my phone. I'm getting text messages that, I need to send in a prescription, and I had to finish some notes, and someone needed their Xanax. So while we're waiting for my daughter to get on stage, I was like, all right, let me get this work done right quick. So I pull out my phone and send in a prescription, and I start documenting a note I didn't complete for the day. The next thing I knew, my daughter was on stage. She was performing, and my wife looks over, and I'm not even paying attention. But she politely kicked me in my shin so I don't miss the whole presentation. Unfortunately, that was my normal. I had been caught in the workload trap too. I didn't know it, but like many doctors, I was in an impossible situation, trying to complete a never-ending to-do list. You just can't stop it. You check one thing off the list, 2 more things go on the list. So it's an impossible situation that you find yourself in as a doctor. I knew when I became a doctor that it was going to be a lot of work. But I didn't know it was going to be this much work. Being constantly overworked just isn't good for anyone. But working had become part of my identity. It was who I was. It defined me. It defined me because when I worked hard, I helped a lot of people. And I served a lot of people. But that hard work didn't always serve me. I equated working hard and helping patients to being a good person. And since I'm a good person, I must be a good doctor. I had made myself a self-sacrificial lamb. And even though I feel like I've helped a lot of people over my career, it's a horribly inefficient way to work with patients. Because what happens is that inefficiency caps your impact that you have on your patients and your community. And you always have this looming cloud of unresolved responsibilities hanging over your head, so you can never really be at peace. It's like raindrops of constant stress on your head, a thunderstorm of relentless busyness that takes a significant toll on your life. And worst of all, this cloud over your head becomes a distraction. It's like you can't even see through the clouds to see God. And that's the most worrisome part about this, is that you get so busy that you can't see your compass in life, because that compass points you to what's truly important. And I found myself so busy that I didn't have space in my mind for God. I was thinking about how much work I had to do and what I had to take care of when I got home. Oh, I got to walk the dogs. I got to take the kids to practice. I have to finish these notes. I have to send these prescriptions. And the next thing I know, a whole day is gone and not even a thought went to God or to prayer. Now that's the ultimate recipe for burnout. So how do we escape this dark cloud hanging over our heads? This cloud that's threatening our peace and our relationships. To overcome this, there needs to be a shift in your mindset. We have to shift from working a high-paid job and being a high-paid specialized employee to being an independent thinking doctor-preneur. You'll have to learn how to minimize your inputs, like your work and your energy and your time, while still maximizing your output, which is your impact on your patients and your community. But first, we have to understand the mindset. Where did that mindset come from? See, I would argue you were acculturated to work the way you work by your school. As far back as you can remember in your medical training, you were taught to take care of the patient that's sitting in front of you. And all of your training is designed to take care of one patient at a time so that you can diagnose and come up with a treatment plan and treat this patient and follow them over time. And then when you got to your residency or your preceptorships, you saw other doctors doing it that way too. So when you were finished with all your education, you did the exact same thing. While that works, the way we normally render services, it's not working for you. I think that school has turned you into something that's better than an employee. It turned you into a key opinion leader. You're a thought leader. You're an educator. You're a teacher. You have a specialized bit of knowledge that only 1% of people on the planet has. That's powerful. But guess what? Even though you're a 1%er, you won't get paid like other 1%ers. I'm sure that you work as hard as any NBA player, NFL player, or Major League Baseball player. But they make way more money than you'll ever make in your career. Here's the reason why. You took your specialized knowledge and you went and you took care of one patient at a time. They took their specialized knowledge and skills and they presented it to a paying audience on the court, on the field. So instead of serving one-to-one, they're serving a large paying audience, millions of people, while you're serving one person at a time. See the difference? Imagine if you could take all of this specialized knowledge and bottle it up. How much would you sell that for? If you can't put a number to that, I bet you Navient knows or Sally Mays knows. And if you could bottle it up and sell it, like, would you want to be a door-to-door salesman and sell it one person at a time? Or would it be more efficient to take that specialized body of knowledge and sell it to a large audience all at once? Imagine if you could do that. If you could do that, imagine how much more impact you would have because you serve so many more people at once. And guess how much revenue you would bring in, and think how much time that would buy you. Working that way puts you in a position to not just have incremental growth, it positions you to have exponential growth because you're serving a large paying audience instead of one patient at a time. Learning to shift your mindset from this employee mindset to a doctor-preneur mindset is difficult. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary to free you from the workload trap. You're comfortable and familiar with what you're doing. But remember, comfort is the enemy of excellence. And you know you need to change, but change is not familiar to you, so it makes you uncomfortable. What's so bad about it is like you've been trained to be comfortable in your current situation, no matter how uncomfortable it actually is. This is the familiarity complex. This keeps you from making those necessary changes to do what is best for you, because you're not the person that you need to be to start this change yet. You became a clinician or a doctor, and you do a very difficult job, but you had to become the person that could do that job. Like any random person on the street could not come and do your work and handle the schedule that you have. You became the person you needed to be by going through medical school or nurse practitioner school, long study sessions, sleepless night, taking call, taking tests, etc., etc. And you became the person that could do the job you do now. And it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't easy. In fact, there was a lot of discomfort. To change now, it will push you out of your current comfort zone. But a life without discomfort is a life without change. It all starts with taking small steps to becoming a new and improved version of yourself. Because if you really think about it, you're more than a clinician, doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant. You're also a father, a mother, a sister, brother. You're a friend, colleague, a role model, or a teacher. your expert. You already have all these different versions of yourself. Now it's time to develop a new one, the doctor-preneur. In future videos, we'll take a deep dive into the solutions that you can do to escape the workload trap so that you can resist burnout, all while increasing the revenue in your practice and buying back your time. And if you think that you might be a victim to the workload trap, then take our private practice performance quiz. It provides an overview into your burnout levels while giving you actionable tips on how to make a change. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more content like this. If you have an idea that may help someone else, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.